ويتوسل إليك بربوبيتك يا مولاي، فكيف يبقى في العذاب وهو يرجو ما سلف من حلمك؟ أم كيف تؤلمه النار وهو يأمل فضلك ورحمتك؟ أم كيف يهرقه لهيبها وأنت تسمع صوته وترى مكانه؟ أم كيف يشتمل عليه زفيرها وأنت تعلم ضعفا؟ أم كيف يتقلقل بين أطباقها وأنت تعلم صدقا؟ أم كيف تزجره زبانيتها وهو يناديك يا ربا؟ أم كيف يرجو فضلك في عتقه منها فتتركه فيها؟ هيهات، ما ذلك الظن بك ولا المعروف من فضلك ولا مشبه لما عاملت به الموحدين من برك وإحسانك. فباليقين أقطع لولا ما حكمت به من تعذيب جاحدك وقضيت به من إخلال معاندك لجعلت النار كلها بردا وسلاما، وما كان لأحد فيها مقرا ولا مقاما، لكنك تقدست أسماؤك أقسام أن تملأها من الكافرين من الجنة والناس أجمعين، وأن تخلد فيها المعاندين، وأنت جل ثناؤك قلت مبتدئا وتطولت بالإنعام متكرما. أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون. إلهي وسيدي، فأسألك بالقدرة التي قدرتها وبالقضية التي حتمتها وحكمتها وغلبت من عليه أجريتها، أن تهب لي في هذه الليلة وفي هذه الساعة كل جرم أجرمته وكل ذنب أذنبته وكل قبيح أسررته وكل جهل عملته، كتمته أو أعلنته، أخفيته أو أظهرته، وكل سيئة أمرت بإثباتها الكرام الكاتبين الذين وكلتهم بحفظ ما يكون مني وجعلتهم شهودا علي مع جوارحي، وكنت أنت الرقيب علي من ورائهم والشاهد لما خفي عنهم، وبرحمتك أخفيت وبفضلك سترت، وأن توفر حظي من كل خير تنزل أو إحسان تفضل أو بر تنشر أو رزق تبسط أو ذنب تغفر أو خطأ تستر. يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا إلهي وسيدي ومولاي ومالك رقي، يا من بيده ناصيتي، يا عليما بضري ومسكنتي، يا خبيرا بفقري وفاقتي، يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي، أسألك بحقك وقدسك وأعظم صفاتك وأسمائك أن تجعل أوقاتي في الليل والنهار بذكرك معمورا وبخدمتك موصولا وأعمالي عندك مقبولا حتى تكون أعمالي وأورادي كلها وردا واحدا وحالي في خدمتك سرمدا يا سيدي يا من عليه معولي يا من إليه شكوت أحوالي يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب يا ربي يا ربي يا رب قو على خدمتك جوارحي واشدد على العزيمة جوانحي وهب لي الجد في خشيتك والدوام في الاتصال بخدمتك حتى أسرح إليك في ميادين السابقين وأسرع إليك في المبادرين وأشتاق إلى قربك في المشتاقين وأدنو منك دنو المخلصين وأخافك مخافة الموقنين وأجتمع في جوارك مع المؤمنين اللهم ومن أرادني بسوء فارده ومن كادني فكده واجعلني من أحسن عبيدك نصيبا عندك وأقربهم منزلة منك وأخسهم زلفة لديك فإنه لا ينال ذلك إلا بفضلك وجد لي بجودك وعطف علي بمجدك واحفظني برحمتك واجعل لساني بذكرك لهجا وقلبي بحبك متيما ومن علي بحسن إجابتك وأكلني عثرتي واغفر زلتي فإنك قضيت على عبادك بعبادتك وأمرتهم بدعائك وضمنت لهم الإجابة فإليك يا رب نسبت وجهي وإليك يا رب مددت يدي فبعزتك استجب لي دعائي وبلغني مناي ولا تقطع من فضلك رجائي واكفني شر الجن والإنس من أعدائي يا سريع الرضا يا سريع الرضا يا سريع الرضا اغفر لمن لا يملك إلا الدعاء فإنك فعال لما تشاء يا من اسمه دواء وذكره شفاء وطاعته غنى ارحم من رأس ماله الرجاء وسلاحه البكاء يا سابغ النعام يا دافع النقام يا نور المستوحشين في الظلام يا عالما لا يعلم صل على محمد وآل محمد وافعل بي ما أنت أهله وصلى الله على رسوله والأئمة الميامين من آله وسلم تسليما كثيرا رحم الله من يقرأ سورة الفاتحة.
حضرات، آپ حضرات سے درخواست ہے کہ براہ کرم تھوڑا آگے تشریف لائیں اور ایک مجلس کا ماحول بنا دیں، اور اس کے ساتھ ہی جناب حسن جعفری صاحب سے درخواست گزار ہوں کہ تشریف لائیں صوت سلام بر مسجد کے لیے. بر محمد و آل محمد صلوات. بیٹے آپ آگے آئیے، آگے.
ایک درود بھیجیے محمد و آل محمد. اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد. ایک مرتبہ اور درود بھیجیے محمد و آل.
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد.
حضرت عباس شاہ لافتہ کے شعر ہیں، خندق و خیبر کے وہ یہ کربلا کے شعر ہیں، خندق و خیبر کے وہ یہ کربلا کے شعر ہیں. اور کیوں نہ ہو ہر جنگ میں یہ مثل حیدر کامیاب، کیوں نہ ہو ہر جنگ میں یہ مثل حیدر کامیاب. وہ خدا کے شعر، یہ شعر خدا کے شعر ہیں، وہ خدا کے شعر، یہ شعر خدا کے شعر ہیں. حضرت عباس شاہ. درود بھیجیے محمد و آل محمد. سلام کے چند اشعار. حسین کرب و بلا کو بسا کے سوئے ہیں، مدینہ چھوڑ کے جنگل میں آ کے سوئے ہیں. حسین کرب و بلا کو بسا کے سوئے ہیں، اور اسی کے واسطے مانگی تھی مہلت ایک شب کی، اسی کے واسطے مانگی تھی مہلت ایک شب کی. حسین حر کا مقدر جگا کے سوئے ہیں، حسین کرب و بلا کو بسا کے سو جو ساتھ لے کے گئے داغ ماتم شب جو ساتھ لے کے گئے داغ ماتم شب چراغ اپنی لحد میں جلا کے سوئے ہیں چراغ اپنی لحد میں جلا کے سوئے ہیں حسین کرب و بلا کو بسا کے سوئے سکینہ پاس نہ جھولانا نہ گود مادر کی سکینہ پاس نہ جھولانا گود مادر کی کہاں پہ اصغر نادان جا کے سوئے ہیں حسین کرب و بلا کو بسا کے سوئے اٹھانا زوجہ حر ان یتیم بچوں اٹھانا زوجہ حر ان یتیم بچوں تماچے شمر کے معصوم کھا کے سوئے ہیں حسین کرب و بلا کو بسا کے سوئے لحد بھی نہ ہوئے ہائے بے کسی حسین لحد بھی نہ ہوئے ہائے بے کسی حسین پسر کی لاش پہ آنسو بہا کے سوئے پسر کی لاش پہ آنسو بہا کے سوئے ہیں حسین کرب و بلا کو ایک درود بھیجیے محمد وآلہ محمد فاتحہ ایک مرتبہ اور درود بھیجیے محمد وآلہ شہادت کی مناسبت سے مرثیہ در حوالے مادر حضرت عباس ام البنین کے چند بند آپ کی خدمت میں عرض ہیں ایک اور درود بھیجیے محمد وآلہ قافلہ شام سے لٹ کر جو مدینے پہنچا قتل شبیر کی آنے لگی رہے کے صدا سن کے یہ مادر عباس کا رخ سرخ ہوا جوش میں آ کے پکاری یہ نہیں ہو سکتا جوش میں آ کے پکاریں یہ نہیں ہو
سکتا،
غیر ممکن ہے میرا خون دغا کر جائے، زندہ عباس ہو زہرا کا پسر مر جائے، زندہ عباس ہو زہرا کا پسر مر جائے، قتل مظلوم کا کرنے جو لگا ذکر بشر، رخ کیا سوئے نجف اور یہ بولی دل کی، سن لیا آپ نے کیا ہو گیا اے کل کے امیر، کر گئی مجھ کو سبک میرے لہو کی تاثیر، کر گئی مجھ کو سبک میرے لہو کی تاثیر، چشم زہرا سے نہاں ہو کے کدھر جاؤں گی، سامنا ہوگا جو بی بی کا تو مر جاؤں گی، سامنا ہوگا جو بی بی کا تو مر جاؤں گی، تھی ابھی مادر عباس تو صدمے سے نڈھا، نظر آیا سر صغرا کہ پریشان ہے با، کہا صغرا نے یہ دادی سے چلیں گھر فی الحال، تشنہ لب ہو گئے پردیس میں سب آپ کے، تشنہ لب سو گئے پردیس میں سب آپ کے، کس طرح رن میں چچا غم کا مداوا کر، کٹ گئے شان تو بابا کی مدد کیا کرتے، کٹ گئے شان تو بابا کی مدد کیا کرتے، دامن فضل پہ دیکھے جو لہو کے دھبے، بولی اے لال تجھے کس نے یہ مارے در، ہائے آدائے حرم صاحب اولاد نت، کرب میں فضل کے ہونٹوں سے یہ جملے نکلے، کرب میں فضل کے ہونٹوں سے یہ جملے نکلے، کچھ نہ پوچھیں کہ میرا حال زبوں ہے دادی، یہ تو بابا کے کٹے ہاتھوں کا خون ہے دادی، یہ تو بابا کے کٹے ہاتھوں کا خون ہے دادی، سن کے یہ ہو گئی مغموم کی حالت سنگ، رو کے فرمایا کہ ٹوٹا میری خاتم کا نگی، کھو گئے دشت بلا میں میرے سب در سمی، کوئی للہ پکارے نہ مجھے ام بنی، کوئی للہ پکارے نہ مجھے ام بنی، بیویوں آج سے ایک سوختہ جام مجھ کو اجڑی ہوں نہ عباس کی ماں مجھ کو کہو، کو اجڑی ہوں نہ عباس کی ماں مجھ کو کہو، کر دے خان قافلہ شام سے،
या मुस्तफ़ा करीम साहब से दरख्वास्त गुजार हूँ कि तशरीफ़ लाएँ और एलाना से सामीन को मुतमईन करें।
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum. Tonight with Shab-e Juma's program we also observing the Wafat Majlis for Ummul Baneen, mother of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. Tonight's program has been sponsored by the families of Brother Nisar Raza. Please join me in reciting Surah Fatiha for their marhumeens as well as your marhumeens. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Tomorrow being Friday, we'll have Jummah Salat at 12 noon. The past 2 weeks, the attendance has been pretty good owing to the school holidays. So we encourage parents to bring in their children. Again, this is a good habit to come for Jummah Salat when it is possible. Also, may I repeat that we also have Fajr Salat on Saturdays and Sundays. Again, this is a good time to bring your young ones. So the program for Fajr starts at 6 a.m. or both on Saturday and Sunday. And Jummah tomorrow is going to be at 12 noon. Next Friday, January 13th, we'll have a big Jashan. This is a very important occasion in the Shia calendar, and this will be the wiladat of Bibi Fatima Salamu Alayha. Yeah. Please be on the lookout for email, and again make sure that you are in attendance for this special occasion. Before I request Maulana to address tonight's gathering, please join me in reciting this Dua Shifa for the sick, for the needy. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Amma yujibul muttarra iza da'a wa yakshifu sur. Amma yujibul muttarra iza da'a wa yakshifu sur. Amma yujibul muttarra iza da'a wa yakshifu sur. أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ أَمَّنْ يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ وَيَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Respectfully, may I request Maulana to address tonight's gathering with a loud salawat.
رحم الله من قرأ سورة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي قصرت عن رؤيته أبصار الناظرين وعجزت عن نعته أوهام الواصفين. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين خاتم النبيين أبي القاسم محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخيرا عملا صدق الله العلي العظيم. سبحان الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. On this sad occasion, we send our condolences to mu'mineen and mu'minat throughout the world, especially Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajuh Sharif. On the occasion 13th of Jamadul Akhirah or Jamadul Thaniya, which marks the Wafat of mother of Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, Fatima bint Hizam al-Kilabiyya, known as Ummul Baneen, salawatullahi wa salamullahi alayha. Salawatullah Muhammad wa alayhi. It is mentioned that in the 64th year after Hijrah, on 13th day of Jamadul Akhirah or Jamadul Thaniya, Wafat of this lady takes place. And for that reason, I chose this ayat from Surah Kahf, ayat number 46, a known ayat to all of you, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses mu'mineen by saying, Al-malu wal-banuna. Fatima bint Hizam al-Kilabiyya, or known as Ummul Baneen, she is known as Ummul Baneen. Baneen is plural for bint, and banat is another plural for that, or rather ibn. You have ibnan, two, and then for the plural of ibn, you have banoon. And in the state where it is genitive, where there's izafa going on, when you have the word before it, instead of becoming ummul banoon, it becomes ummul baneen. But originally the word is banoon. Originally the word is banoon. With the idafa of the word it becomes baneen. And therefore you find that this word has appeared in Quran as well. In this ayat of Surah Kahf, chapter 18, verse number 46, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses by saying, Al-malu wal-banuna. Indeed, the wealth and the children. Zinatul hayatid dunya. They are nothing but the embellishment and the zinat of this worldly life. وَالْبَاقِيَاتُ الصَّالِحَاتِ خَيْرٌ إِنْدَ رَبِّكَ ثَوَابًا وَخَيْرٌ أَمَلًا. But what is more important is your baqiyatu salihat, the long-lasting, your baqiyat, which are righteous. They are more, worthy in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as far as the reward is concerned. Wa khayrun amala, as far as your hope in getting something is concerned. We look at that there is a message in this ayat. Every ayat, has a message for us, and this ayat indeed has a very strong message. One of the messages that you gain from this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us not to attach ourselves too much with the wealth and the children that He has given to us in this life. But He's not saying don't ask for wealth and children. That's not being condemned. Why? Because through wealth and through children, you will be able to accommodate baqiyatu salihat in the akhirah. Now, question is what is the opposite of baqiyat? Faniyat. Something which is baqi, opposite of is what? Fani. Do we have any actions which is fani? Meaning annihilated, non-existent. Baqi is something which remains. Whether good or bad action, that remains. You know why? Because the ayat of Quran says so. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Good or bad that you've done in this life, it'll remain. It'll be baqi. It's not going to perish. It's not going to be annihilated. It's not going to go away. Good or bad that you have done will be shown in the day of judgment. So why is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, baqiyat? That you will have those which will be long lasting, which will be carried over. So there could be bad in it as well. And that's why the word salihat is being used as the attribute, as an adjective to describe this baqiyat. That what you want to carry over in the hereafter is those baqiyat which are salihat. You don't want to carry over the baqiyat which is fasidat. Right? The opposite of salih could be fasid, that which is corrupted. So what do you want to carry over there? You want to make sure that you carry with you baqiyat, the good deeds which are salihat as well. Not just any baqi, because all of our actions will remain. Whether good or bad we do will remain with us and will be shown in the hereafter. But what you want to carry over with you, have what is more predominant. How is it? Well, what do I do if I already have done a lot of bad in this world? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you many opportunities to burn away those bad deeds that you have committed in this life. For example, he says in ayat of Quran that if you stay away from the kaba'ir, we will overlook your saghair. Meaning, as long as you guarantee that you will not touch or go near those which are considered to be gunahane kabira, we will overlook your gunahane saghira. This is indeed a favor from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes yudhibna sayyi'at. Good deeds do what? They melt away. They burn away sayyi'at. So there are opportunities for you in this life to go ahead and get rid of those, bad things that you have done through all of these means that are mentioned. Now, with that said, I use this ayat primarily because of the word Banoon has appeared in this ayah. Now, as far as Ummul Baneen is concerned, Fatma bint Hizam is her name, Al-Kilabiyya, the family that she belongs to. Her father, of course, is someone who sees a dream. One of his travels, when he was traveling, he falls asleep. And then, back in the day, there was this, not that back in the day, even today, there's this phenomena that people call and they ask, what is the ta'bir of my dream? Believe it or not, I get these calls almost pretty much every day. People who have seen certain dreams, they want the ta'bir of their dreams. Now, I'm making a full announcement from the member today. All of you who are present and all of those who are listening, I do not possess the knowledge of interpreting the dreams. I'll do Google for you and look up what the dream means and I'll interpret it that way. But of course, there are riwayat. There is a book of Ta'bir Ru'ya by Ibn Sirin, which pretty much many ulama rely upon. These are based on facts. That things that you see in your dreams, they do not carry over any weight, in a sense that it does not make anything obligatory upon you. It does not make anything haram upon you. If you see certain things based on facts, this might happen, for example. But it's not that you have an obligation to go ahead and carry out that duty. For example, you see yourself circumambulating the Kaaba. Well, good thing. Go ahead and do Umrah. Go ahead and perform Hajj. Maybe that's the ta'bir of it. You see yourself in the haram of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Go for the ziyarat if you haven't gone for example. If you see, for example, yourself involved into something which is haram, give sadaqah so that that calamity, that haram, goes away and does not come close to you. These are the these are the tweaks that you can use to interpret or to take care of the dreams that may have been disturbing you. So similar was the case back then. Father of Ummul Baneen sees a dream. In this dream, he sees that he's sitting in this garden and someone is pouring upon his hands these beautiful gems, murwarid. And when he receives these gems, he's, astonished at the beauty of these gems that he has never seen before. And while in the dream, he comes across a man who says to him that, how much are you willing to sell these gems to me? So the father of Baneen responds in his dream by saying that I do not know the price and the qimat of these gems. What do you think they are worth? so that we can go ahead and do a mu'amala. The man who had asked for the gems, he said, I do not know the value of these gems either, but it does seem like that they're worth a lot, and it seems like that there's something beyond that as well. He said, what could there be? He said, maybe it refers to that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bestow a child to you which represents or is equal to these marwarid and these gems. Of course, he wakes up from this lengthy dream of his. He goes to someone, asks, I saw this dream, what do you interpret? He said, exactly what you have seen. Because sometimes in the dream, they don't really need to interpret. You saw what you would see and what you would get. The dream said you would have a child, and there you go. The child will be given to you. He comes home, his wife Thumama, few months later gives birth, and the daughter that was born to them was Fatima bint Hizam, Ummul Baneen. They go ahead and name her to be Fatima, and they give her the kunniyat and the title of Ummul Baneen from the very beginning of her birth. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And so she is someone right away, a product of a dream which the father had seen. And this is where you find many other karamat that are attached with this great lady. Even her grandfather, Amir ibn Malik, is someone who was known for his bravery. Someone who was, of course, not a mu'min, he was a mushrik at that time, but he was known for his bravery in all of Arabia. In one of the battles, he had been given a title, someone, Alabus Saniya, someone who is, could carry the spears or could carry the spears, many spears with him, and he was given these titles which represented valor and bravery. But he had this illness, and that illness of his was that he would get dehydrated a lot. There's a issue with many of us that where it's difficult for even Sharia has given the permission that if you get dehydrated a lot and you get thirsty a lot, someone who gets thirsty, it is not obligatory upon them to go ahead and fast. Because in fast you have to refrain from eating and drinking. If excessive thirst is your illness, then it's not wajib upon you to go ahead and fast. Instead, what you do is go ahead and give fidya for each fast that you're unable to make due to this illness. So while he was a warrior of his time and he was known for his bravery, this was something which was an illness that was found in him. He sends some gifts to Rasulullah through his son Lubayd. Lubayd is the uncle of Ummul Baneen. Sends some gifts to Rasulullah. Rasulullah receives these gifts, but he rejects them. Upon receiving, he rejects them, saying that I do not take gifts from those who are mushrikeen. If he was to convert to Islam, I will accept the gifts. It's funny, this was not it just came to my mind that Shibli Nomani, a historian who has written a great deal in the history of Islam, he narrates two incidents in his book of Tarikhul Islam regarding Rasulullah. One incident is where Rasulullah was praying. Abu Jahl or Abu Lahab, probably Abu Jahl, went ahead and put the wastes of an animal. When you sacrifice an animal, there's stuff that you do not consume, that you throw away. He took that and he put upon Rasulullah. Rasulullah, of course, was in the halat of salat. He got up, he removed all of that, and right away Rasulullah went to home of Abu Talib, and he complained to Hazrat Abu Talib saying, oh my uncle, so-and-so had done so-and-so to me, I need your help. Similar incident happens where Hazrat Hamza, another uncle of Rasulullah, who had not yet embraced Islam, who sees there was a man, Abu Jahl probably, or his colleagues, were cursing at Rasulullah. He takes his arch and he throws at that man. It strikes him, forbids him from speaking ill about Rasulullah. Comes home to Rasulullah and tells him that, oh, my nephew, so-and-so was speaking ill of you, I struck him with my arch and I quietened him for some time. Rasulullah responded by saying, I do not need your help, because I do not seek help from those who are not mu'mineen and who are not followers of the religion that I have brought. The moment you bring iman onto me, then yes, I will need your help. Funny is that both of these stories are mentioned by Shibli Nomani in his book Tarikh Islam. What do you gain out of these two? Rasulullah denies and rejects one's shafa'at or one's help, and Rasulullah goes and asks for one's help. Whose help he rejects? Hazrat Hamza, because he hasn't brought iman yet. Whose house does he go to? The house of Abu Talib, seeking his help. Here Rasulullah had said, when the grandfather of Ummul Baneen sends gifts to Rasulullah, he rejects them, saying, I do not receive gifts from those who are mushrikeen. This is very simple, Shibli Nomani. Even you should not have said that Abu Talib left this world in the state of kufr, because this riwayat itself proves by itself on its own merits that Abu Talib was on iman. That is the reason Rasulullah sought his help and others were not on iman. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So Rasulullah rejected the gifts from Amir ibn Malik, grandfather of Ummul Baneen. And then he said to Lubayd, he spit, Rasulullah, used his saliva, mixed it with some sand, and gave it to Lubayd. Said, here, take it and give it to your father. Lubayd thought it was, Rasulullah was mocking, Malik or Amir ibn Malik, his father. But he brought it to Amir. Amir said, sure. He drank from that. And he said the problem of dehydration went away, and he never complained for that. Why would Rasulullah help a mushrik? Maybe some mufassirin have mentioned, muhaddiseen have mentioned, that Rasulullah, like Amirul Mu'mineen, of course, we have heard and related to Amirul Mu'mineen that his sword knew where there would be sahibani iman in the family, so Imam would spare that individual. Rasulullah helped him. Why? Because Rasulullah knows that there will be a lady in the progeny of Amir ibn Malik who will be someone married to the family of Rasulullah, and she will be the one taking care of Hussein ibn Ali as far as the tarbiyat is concerned. Salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we see that, when we choose, and of course, Janabe Amir al-Mu'mineen, after the Shahadat of Bibi Sayyida, 10 years later, he marries Ummul Baneen. And you know the story that he asks his brother Aqil to find a person who is known for the shaja'at and known for their adabiyat and known for their, all of these sifat hasana that Amirul Mu'mineen mentioned. And Aqil found this proposal and this rishta, and it is the custom of Arabs that when you go to someone's house, they use their hospitality for 3 days. So Hazrat Aqil went to the house of Ummul Baneen. They treated him and they provided for him for 3 days without asking any question. This is how the hospitality of the Arabs is. And on the 4th day, they inquired, why are you here? And right away Aqil said, this is the reason that I have come. And when he said that, father of Ummul Baneen was caught off guard. And he was astonished as to what the demand is here. And just like any father, he goes up to Ummul Baneen and he goes up to the mother of Ummul Baneen, says that we have a proposal that has come for us. Here, Fatima bint Hizam, Ummul Baneen, she narrates a dream of her own. Before she responds in a positive manner, she narrates a dream of her own. She says that, I was sitting in the midst of a garden, and as I was sitting in the midst of a garden, there were rivers and there were fruits, moons and stars were shining. I was amazed with the azamat that the moon came down in my lap. The moon came down in my lap. Following it, 3 stars came down to my lap. Their light was so mesmerizing that I heard the following couplet. She heard this. She heard Bushraki Fatima Bisadatil Ghurar Thalathatu Anjumin Wazahiril Qamar Abuhum Sayyidun Fil Khalqi Qatiba Ba'dar Rasul Kada Qad Ja'a Fil Khabar. What is the couplet says? The couplet says, "O Fatima, congrats to you for this siyadat and this light of nur that has come to you. Qamar has come to you, the moon has come to you, and 3 other stars have come down to you. For 3 stars and the illuminated moon, their father is Sayyid. He is the leader of all of mankind after the Holy Prophet, and that's how the news has been sent down." That's how the news has been sent down. She said, "I saw this dream. I could not believe what was about to happen. And rest assured, this was the prophecy of it, that the hand of Amirul Mu'mineen comes for Fatima bint Hizam, Ummul Baneen, as far as the marriage is concerned. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestows this great lady a moon in the form of Qamar Bani Hashim, Hazrat Abul Fazl Abbas, and 3 other sons who were considered to be the stars as far as this riwayat is concerned. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So Islam recommends that you choose a partner who, of course, is not sick, or even when you're choosing a teacher, a coach, a murabbi for your child, someone who does not possess bad characteristics, and someone who is not ill. For example, today it is common, those who have kids, that when your child is sick, the school tells you not to send your kid to school, right? Keep him at home, because we don't want the sickness to spread to other kids. And it transfers quickly from one child to another, because of course they're not caring, and we went through this pandemic as well, and we saw what happens. Similarly, if the teacher is sick, do you expect her to show up to work and to the classroom? No, you would want her to stay home as well, so that she doesn't spread her germs, or the teacher, he does not spread his germs to the children, because they can easily, they're not immune to it, they might be able to catch this. So you want someone to be not ill. You don't want someone to be sick who's teaching your child, who's coaching your child. Why? Because they can physically impact them and also catch this sickness. We're so careful when it comes to their physical well-being. Have you ever paid attention to their spiritual well-being? That how their character is, what kind of character they will be imparting on your children. That's why it is very important when you're choosing a spouse to look for these characteristics. That 1, the person is not sick or ill. Number 2, that person also possesses good characteristics. Amirul Mu'mineen was choosing such a spouse and was looking for these akhlaq hasana in the form that, of course, could not be duplicated from Janab Fatima salawatullahi wa salamullahi alayha, salawat bi Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, but something which is close to the great lady Fatmatul Zahra. Why? Because he's bringing a mother into the household where there's already Hassan and Hussein. There's already Zainab and Kulthum. Now there's a mention that Hazrat Yaqub showed excessive love to his son Yusuf. What happened? The other brothers became jealous to the extent that they wanted to take the life of their brother. You know the story, Surah Yusuf is there. This is not a riwayat, this is a story which is mentioned in Quran, one of the most beautiful stories, as Quran itself says, نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ أَحْسَنَ الْقَصَصِ. We narrate to you what? The most beautiful and the best of the stories. What happens in the best of the stories of Quran? That Yaqub shows excessive love to his son, rightly so, Hazrat Yusuf, and the remaining brothers become jealous. And to the extent that they want to take the life of their younger brother, Hazrat Yusuf alayhi wasalam. Similarly, the Fatima bint Hizam shows excessive love toward Imam Hussein. And why not? Because Hussein deserves this excessive love. But do you see any jealousy in the household of Fatima bint Hizam? Do you see any jealousy rising in the lives of Hazrat Abbas and the brothers of Hazrat Abbas? No, this is where the character of Ummul Baneen comes into play. It would have been easy for the other children to become what? Jealous of the love that is being given to Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wassalam. But no, that is not the case. So here we understand the household of Hazrat Yaqub faces jealousy because one child is given more love, but the household of Amirul Mu'mineen, because of the tarbiyat of Fatima bint Hizam, does not face the similar calamity. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now I'm running out of my time, and there was a lot of stuff regarding Fatima bint Hizam. Inshallah, I'll get an opportunity maybe tomorrow or Friday or other times to share this with you, that she is someone of karamat. Don't underestimate the karamat. It is mentioned that if you lose something, there are many things that you can do to find that. First is to go look for it. While you're looking for that thing which you have lost, you can do this amal. You can recite a Surah Fatiha for Ummul Baneen, followed by a salawat for her sake, and then look for the thing that you have lost. It is tajruba that you will definitely find that thing which you have lost. We lose things on regular basis, daily basis. You lose your keys, you lose this, you lose that, and now you're searching for it, you're looking for it. It's one of the best ways to go ahead and make this search quickly is by sending a Fatiha for the soul of Ummul Baneen and reciting a salawat for Ummul Baneen and looking for that thing which you have lost, and you will find it quickly. Another thing which is more so in the Arab culture than in our Indian Pakistani culture, and that is the sufra of Ummul Baneen, dastarkhan of Ummul Baneen. While we have dastarkhan of Imam Hassan, we have dastarkhan of Imam Jafar Sadiq, we have dastarkhan of other great personalities in the months of Rajab, there's the dastarkhan and the sufra of Bibi Ummul Baneen. I was reading in this book regarding Ummul Baneen, the author Amir al-Ansari, he writes in his book when he mentions regarding Ummul Baneen that he says in his hometown, when the author's name is Muhammad Raza Abdul Amir al-Ansari. The book name is Ummul Baneen Namadi az Khud Guzashtagi. He says, and he writes the story in it. He says, in our town, in our street, we had, of course, the Majalis of Muharram, the first Ashra, the second Ashra, and we had the Majlis to commemorate Ummul Baneen's Wafat, and we had the Dastarkhan and the Sufra of Ummul Baneen. It was known amongst the women. He says there was a family, Turkish family, that has moved to our street. They were from Hanafi madhab. They were not Shia. And of course, in Iraq and in our communities, when there's majalis going on a street, you can hear on the loudspeaker, right? It's not like, when we're having a majlis over here, nobody can hear outside, but back home, loudspeakers you can hear even from outside. He said, so this family moved into this neighborhood and they could hear the majalis all the time. And so the women saw this new family has moved, not knowing they're Sunni or they're Shia, they're Hanafi, what they are. The women went up to this lady and they invited her over to come to the majlis. She was reluctant initially. When they spoke to her, then where are you from, all that stuff, she said to them that, we're from so-and-so place, we just recently moved. And of course, we're not Shia. They said, okay, that's fine. But, welcome to the neighborhood. Now women gets talking. They said, how long you've been married? They said, we've been married for 10 years. Said, you don't have any kids? He said, no, I don't have any kids. He said, why not? And they asked her the reason and all this stuff. She said, well, doctors have said I cannot bear a child, and therefore, that is the marzi of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are radi with the qada of Allah. He said, have you tried something like dua or whatever? He said, yeah, we did the amal of Hazrat Zakaria. There's some amal of Hazrat Zakaria that is introduced in Ahl Sunnah. She said, we did that, but nothing availed. He said, well, there's a sufra of Ummul Baneen. We want to invite you to come and eat from that sufra. And we want you to make another that if Allah bestows you a child, especially a daughter, you'll name her after Ummul Baneen. She was reluctant initially, of course, these things have to do with Aqidah and all that stuff. But shy, not telling her husband, who would shut it down immediately, no, don't need to go and all that stuff, she gets the courage to go. You know, the hub of awlad, the children that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives. So she gets the courage to go to this sufra. There was the majlis for Ummul Baneen. The reciter recited the Masaib of Ummul Baneen, which brought about the Girya and all that stuff. And she stopped, mentioned the Fadail of Ummul Baneen. When she finished all of that, there was the sufra, the dastarkhan, the table with the food, which is associated to Ummul Baneen. She grabbed some food from it. She went home. She and her husband both ate from it that evening. And after a month, she feels the sickness which is associated with pregnancy. Not knowing, they go see a doctor because they had given up. Husband and the wife had given up. They go see a doctor only to find out after further results that eventually she is now carrying a child. She makes this niyat, the moment I will, give birth, I will name her to be Fatima. And this is where the aqidah of this lady emerged. That when she sees that the power that is associated with these individuals who are awliya Allah, this has to do with your aqaid. Sometimes we look at certain things that are associated with our madhab and we shut them down. We say, no, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. No, don't shut them down. Some of these things actually carry weight. Even if it may not have worked with you, but it has worked for many people and it has been projected. So therefore, she embraces the religion. She comes over to madhab tashayyu, and the rest is history as far as the awlad that was given to her. Now coming back to Fatima bint Hizam, she is someone who before Imam Hussein leaves for Karbala, she's propagating. One of the roles that the ladies have played, those who are present in Karbala and those who are not present in Karbala, is to make sure that they're able to gather an army, gather people who will accompany Imam Hussein. But even with all the efforts, you see only 72 as the number of shuhada which is mentioned in Karbala. Fatima bint Hizam, Ummul Baneen, is someone who could not go to Karbala herself. But even those who could not attend and be part of the ma'arika of Karbala, they sent their fadaya toward Karbala. Imam Hassan knew that he would not be present in Karbala, but he sends his sons with the ta'qeed that you will sacrifice yourself for my brother. And of course for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the son of Imam Hassan, Qasim, presents that ruq'ah from his father, showing to Imam Hussein that, look, you're not giving me the permission to go to the maqtal. My father has already written this letter to you. Someone who was not able to attend was Hazrat Abdullah, the husband of Bibi Zainab. Although he couldn't go, he sends his fidya in the form of Aun and Muhammad. Another person who could not attend the ma'araka of Karbala was Ummul Baneen. But who does she send? She sends not one but 4 of her sons. Hazrat Abbas, Hazrat Ja'far, Hazrat Uthman, and Hazrat Abdullah. 4 sons of Ummul Baneen are present in Karbala. Of course, we hear a great deal about Qamar Bani Hashim, Hazrat Abul Fadl Abbas, for his valor, for his bravery. And that is the reason when Amir al-Mu'mineen was struck by the sword of Ibn Muljim, Imam ﷺ gave wasiyat to all of his children that Imam Hassan is your Imam after me. Make sure that you obey him, make sure you listen to him. But then he did not give Abbas's hand into the hand of Hassan. Ummul Baneen comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen saying, oh my Mawla, has my son made a mistake that you did not give his hand in the hand of Hassan? Imam says, no, Ummul Baneen. He then asked for Abbas to come, and he asked Hussein to come, and he places the hand of Hussein into the hand of Abbas, and he says, oh Abbas, know that you are my son, and Hussein is the son of Rasulullah. As long as you are alive, make sure nothing happens to Hussein. And right ashore, Hazrat Abbas did what he was asked to do, and that is why when the Qafla had returned back to Medina, Bashir is announcing in Medina that the the qafila that went a few months ago has returned back to Medina, but they have come back in a state where all the men have been killed. Ummul Baneen, who could not see properly, she comes up to Bashir and she said, "Oh Bashir, did I hear you correctly?" Bashir sees this lady who has sent her 4 children. She says, "Your son Abbas was killed." She said, "Oh Hussein." He said, "Your son Ja'far was killed." He said, "I'm asking you about Hussein." He kept on mentioning your son after son after son. She said, "I ask you of Hussein and you give me news of my own children." Bashir says, "Rest assured, Hussein was also killed." And Janab Fatima bint Hizam says, "I cannot believe that Hussein could be harmed with the presence of Abbas." And she was informed, no. Abbas did what he could. Abbas died before Hussein left this world. As long as Abbas was alive, nothing happened to Hussein. Ummul Baneen threw herself to the ground and she throws khak on her head. She said, "Don't call me Ummul Baneen anymore. Where are the Baneen that I am their mother of?" ألا لعنة الله القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. By Allah, if we've committed a lot of sins, please forgive our sins. Oh Allah, give us a tawfiq and ability to follow the commands and the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu wasalam. Oh Allah, hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam. Make us amongst the helpers and the soldiers of Imam. Akhir dawana. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح النبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام ولي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة. لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين. وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرضي الزكي الهادي المهدي. وأشهد أن الأئمة من ولدك كلمة التقوى وأعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياءه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبإيابكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي. وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن الحسين الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها الشهيد، السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. لعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة سمعت بذلك فرضيت به. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وأحباءه، السلام عليكم يا أصفياء الله وأوداءه، السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدتي نساء العالمين، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن بن علي الولي الناصح، السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي عبد الله، بأبي أنتم وأمي طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم وفزتم فوزا عظيما، فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل عباس بن أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوصيين، السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأحوطهم على الإسلام. أشهد لقد نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك فنعم الأخ المواسي، فلعن الله أمة قتلتك، ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك، ولعن الله أمة استحلت منك المحارم وانتهكت حرمة الإسلام. فنعم الصابر المجاهد المحامي الناصر والأخ الدافع عن أخيه المجيب إلى طاعة ربه الراغب فيما زهد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل، وألحقك الله بدرجة آبائك في جنات النعيم. السلام عليكم جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولى وابن مولى، السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء، السلطان أبو الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن، السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان، السلام عليك يا إمامنا وإمام الإنس والجان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من أنصارك وأعوانك وتحت لوائك. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة.